welcome back to the broadcast. We're going to have, later in the show, people of the Queen's generation join us to talk about her life and contribution. Sean and Kelsey from, Sean is from Young Voices. He's a writer and commentator. And Kelsey Kenter is Director of Media Strategy at Red Banyan. Is it too much coverage on the Queen? Is it an overkill? Are people losing their interest in this story? I mean, it seems like it's just going on forever, Sean.
Well, you know, for England, for the United Kingdom, I mean, she has reigned for an incredible number of years. I mean, going back to, I believe, right before or during World War II. This is someone who has been held up in this country as, I mean, literally a queen, someone they look up to, someone who is omnipotent in their life. And so for England, I mean, who's to judge if they're honoring her too much or if they're giving her too much airtime? You know, here in America, I mean, we fought a war in 1776, so we wouldn't necessarily have to be subject to such media coverage. But you know what? We can respect them. She's clearly someone who's very important, has been a class act for England. And we will see how King Charles does, or if he will be perhaps more suspect to outside influence, if he's going to be a king for England, or I've heard some people express concern that maybe he would be more subject to influence from the World Economic Forum or people who might steer him in the wrong direction. But overall, I think we should give England their time to grieve, their time to mourn. I mean, she has been there forever, after all.
You know, Sean, wages in America is not what people want them to be, and this country is facing 8% inflation rate.
Yeah, and that is a good enough inflation rate for the Biden administration to throw that big inflation party they had the other day. I mean, talk about out of touch. Look, at the end of the day, the reason that prices are rising, the reason that our dollar is being devalued is because in the last 2 years, 80% of all dollars that have ever been printed were printed in the last 2 years. Whenever the Federal Reserve creates more money, the money that's in our pocket right now is buying less. And so people are waking up to that across the board. That is the one silver lining of this inflation and of this disaster we're in. But you look at Republicans in the Senate, you look at some of the bills they're putting forward, this 15-week abortion ban, some of these other bonehead bills, and they're doing nothing but giving the Democrats and giving the Biden administration a chance to gain momentum ahead of the midterms. The best thing that Republicans can do if they want to continue and take the Senate, or rather take, you know, the midterms, House and Senate even, is just sit back and let the Biden administration continue to screw up, to continue devaluing our money, and the results will speak for themselves.
You know, Sean, let me tell you, people should be at their wits' end trying to defend former President Donald Trump on this declassification. I mean, it is so bizarre. It is so obvious that he's not being honest. He's not being forthright. Why can't he just tell the truth about the declassification of the documents?
You know, personally, I think a bigger issue and something that should frighten more Americans than whether or not Donald Trump is being honest. I mean, you look at that track record, it's the fact that the FBI, right, is being weaponized.
Whoa. Well, no. I'm not asking you about the FBI. We know about the FBI being weaponized. I'm asking you about former President Donald Trump's behavior. That's what I'd like for you to speak to.
Sure. Well, you know, you look at Roger Stone, who consulted Donald Trump for many years. He has his Stone's rules. One of the rules that Roger Stone trained Donald Trump on, according to his own account, is no matter what, deny, deny, deny. Right? So it's hard to say sometimes whether or not, you know, any president, really any politician, is being truthful, because that strategy that Roger Stone taught Donald Trump is the same strategy that most every politician, Republican or Democrat, will employ to save their own political skin. Deny, deny, deny. This is all a hit job. And that's the problem that Americans are fed up with right now, is the blurring lines of, you know, what is truth and what is spin. So I think this is a problem that goes beyond Trump.
Sean, what are the issues that you're covering today that does not get the necessary attention in the mainstream media?
Sure. Well, I'm glad to see, not that I'm glad to see that it's happening, but I'm glad to see that inflation is finally getting the attention it deserves. It's worse than ever, right? Worse since the 70s. But it keeps getting overshadowed, right, by these social issues, by these stunts that keep coming up, whether it's the 15-week abortion ban, whether it's, shipping migrants off to different states. But I do think that for the first time since I've been, around, I was born in 1993, inflation is getting the talk that it deserves of. The Federal Reserve is catching people's attention from their destructive practice of printing money. More people are waking up to that than ever. And so people should be redirecting the conversation, these politicians, these leaders, and stop falling into the trap of the news du jour and start reminding people that inflation is an equal opportunity destroyer. Doesn't matter if you voted for Trump, voted for Biden, you're black, you're white, you're Asian. It's hitting you at your wallet, and the devaluation of the dollar is the biggest crisis that our country faces right now.